Hi, and welcome to Week 4 of Inside the Huddle. I'm Jeffrey Stoute, joined here by Morgan City head football coach Scott Tregle. We're at Morgan City where, for the second week in a row, it's homecoming for an area football team. Morgan City this week will host Cohen College Prep. Morgan City comes into the game 3-0 for the first time since the 2012 season. Last week, the Tigers defeated North Central 57-0. It was all-around good game for the Tigers. They got the opening kickoff. Scott Como returned 71 yards for a touchdown. Ethan Ciano had 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing on just 7 carries. Just an overall good game. Como had 2 picks on defense. Morgan City 309 yards of total offense and limited North Central to under 100. For the season, Ciano leads the Tigers offense with over 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Malik Phillips has 182, Kedrick Scott, and 3 touchdowns. Kedrick Scott, 148. And Abram Hartley's thrown for 111 yards and 2 scores. This week, Morgan City will face Cohen, who enters the game 0-3 this season. The squad from the New Orleans area, unfortunately, has a lengthy losing streak. They haven't won since October 2011, so they've lost 33 straight games, and last week they fell 58-0 to St. Helena. Coach, let's start off with obviously the 3-0 start. A very positive start for your squad. Already surpassed last year's win total, and obviously looking for more. Just talk a little bit about the start to the season.
Yeah, we faced 2 tough opponents coming out in Berwick and Sophie B. Wright, and we knew last week was going to be, kind of difficult to keep the starters in for a while. As far as Cohen, they're a lot better than North Central. I'm not sure how good, compared to Sophie B. Wright and Berwick, because they've been playing some tough competition. And like I said, we got them in here for our homecoming. We want to win our homecoming game, and they graciously agreed to come twice, this year and next year. And like I said, I saw them on, watching film. They do a lot of good things. They just making some mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot when they drive the ball down the field. They do have some good athletes that break long runs and they complete passes, and they're a pretty good team overall. He's bringing 65 people here, he said, so with the coaches and the manager and the team. So they have a lot bigger team than North Central. We're just trying to keep our kids focused for the week. We hadn't had any problems homecoming-wise. Tell them every day it's about the game. Let the fans, let the students enjoy the homecoming. We need to prepare to win Friday night.
What kind of offense and defense do they run?
They run a 4-2-5 on defense, which it kind of benefits us because, they're going to put an extra man on our tight end, our strength side, and we're able to run both strong and weak. Actually, we have more success running weak because there's one extra guy out the box. On offense, they run the eye, they run a spread, they run some motion to trips. The quarterback's a pretty decent runner. He likes to throw to 2 of their good receivers. And they, like I said, they move the ball. Every film we saw, they moved the ball. They didn't get down there and something would happen. They'll have a fumble or something. But overall, they look pretty decent to me.
Mm-hmm. And, homecoming always a exciting time, but time that can be filled with distractions. Seems like your guys have handled it well.
Yeah, after practice yesterday, a lot of the guys was like, everybody go home. Y'all go home, get some sleep, get ready for practice tomorrow. It started out Sunday night. They staying out with toilet paper, and, they got in my house, got a few other people. But it was just some clean fun with toilet paper, no destruction. We hadn't had any problems so far. So, I'm going to keep telling them that every day. It's about the game. If you do something stupid and you get in trouble, you're not going to play. So if you really want to play this game, you better do the right thing. And like I told them, y'all know right from wrong. So it's about doing the right thing, and that's why we've been successful so far. These kids are buying into what we're doing, and they're working hard, and they want to do the right thing, and they want to be successful, and they're enjoying it.
All right, Coach. We appreciate it, and
All right.
Good luck this season.
Thank you, Geoff.
In other action this week, the week will start off with Central Catholic traveling to Lafayette Christian to face the Knights. Lafayette Christian enters the game 1-2, while Central Catholic is undefeated at 3-0. Last week, the Eagles defeated Ascension Catholic 70-46 in a game that featured obviously a lot of scoring. The Eagles While they got 2 fumble returns early for touchdowns by Charlie Solar, Coach Tommy Minton wasn't all the way happy with his team as far as their defensive intensity and thought they kind of slacked like they had won the game, and said that they just need to keep the intensity up. They got their usual performance from Stefano Garisco, who had over 140 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, caught 1 touchdown pass, and returned a kickoff for a touchdown. But they also got more from the passing game. Blake Byrne was nearly 100% passing for about 150 yards, and Greg Leger led and 3 touchdowns. And Greg Leger led the receivers with 3 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. On the season, Garisco's rushed for 692 yards, 9 touchdowns, and Burns thrown for 281 and 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. And Jalen Johnson has over 100 yards, 116 yards, and 2 scores. This week against Lafayette Christian, they'll face a squad that, while they have a 3-year starter at quarterback in Reagan Miller, a week ago they started a freshman, Zachary Clement. He threw for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and rushed for 100 more. Coach Tommy Minton said he doesn't know which of the 2 that they'll play this week. Last week, Miller played at running back while Clement was at quarterback, but he said they prepared for both. On defense, they like to run a 4-3 and they like to blitz. They like to bring pressure. In other area action, Berwick will also open District 8 3A play. They'll travel to Franklin, where they'll face the Hornets. Berwick last week picked up a thrilling 21-20 victory over Varnado, in which the Panthers rallied in the second half, specifically the fourth quarter, for the win. They were already down 14-0, and they got 3 touchdown passes to eventually get the win. Colin Louvier connected with Aldwin Williams for the first one. Then he connected with Lorenz Clark for another to tie the game at 14. Varnado ran out much of the fourth quarter clock, the rest of it, and got a touchdown drive with about 1:20 left. Got a touchdown, but Berwick came back, and Louvier connected with Williams again for another touchdown. And John McCorkle, who was 3 for 3 on extra points, added the final one for what ended up being the game-winning point. Louvier had 202 yards passing in the game, as well as 18 carries for 51 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns and had 2 interceptions, both in the first half, but obviously he rallied to overcome that. Aldwin Williams had 5 receptions for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Lorenz Clark had 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown in the win. This season, Louvier leads the squad with 232 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, while Williams has 12 catches for 250 yards and 4 scores. Last week's win was the Panthers' first since October 24th, 2014, when they beat Franklin 23-14 in Berwick. Ironically, this week, when they open district play, it's against none other than Franklin. So the Panthers obviously will be looking to make it 2 straight. And Franklin comes into the game 0-2. They lost last week to Jeanerette 36-0. 0-3. They lost last week 36-0. Patterson, meanwhile, also picked up its first win of the season last week. They defeated Catholic High New Iberia 42-41. The final score came after Catholic High had missed the extra point late in the game after scoring a touchdown to close the gap. Patterson's offense had nearly 500 yards in the win, led by quarterback Sebastian Charles, who rushed for 157 yards and passed for 211 more and 2 touchdowns. DJ Jones and Tristan Asama each added 2 touchdowns on the ground for the Lumberjacks. This season, Asama and Charles lead Patterson's ground game. Asama has 147 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Charles has 133 yards rushing. Charles also has passed for 534 yards and 4 touchdowns with 1 interception this season, while in the receiving department, Nehemiah Augustus leads the squad with 168 yards and a score, and Brennan Go has 149 yards and 2 scores. This week against Ellender, they'll face a squad that got its first win of the season a week ago with a win against Bonneville. It broke a 4-game losing streak for the for Ellender, who had last won against Franklin in October 2014. Also, Patterson's win last week broke a 3-game losing streak dating back to their quarterfinal loss to North Webster a year ago. In that win last week for Ellender, receiver Devontavian Martin had 4 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's it for another week of Inside the Huddle. We appreciate you joining us and look forward to talking to you next week and previewing next week's games. Thanks for watching.